Okay, welcome back. We are joined here by Cougar football head coach Marty Hoffman and senior quarterback Marcus Reeb. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We appreciate it.
Good to be back in the den.
Yeah. Love it.
I'd say it's into the den, but it's kind of different. But yeah, welcome into this room and this awesome opportunity for us.
Mm-hmm. We'll get to the fundraising part here in just a minute, but I think it's important we kind of take a look at your young season so far. You've got a couple games under your belt. It was a 44-30 loss to McAllister in week 1, and then we're coming off the homecoming loss versus Hamlin, 49-28. Coach, to start with you, what have you kind of liked about what you've seen so far in this young season?
Well, I like the fact that the team remains positive. You know, obviously it's not the outcomes that we work for, what we worked extremely hard for in the off season. Our schedule is set where, we're really kind of in our tough competition early. And so, it's to get us really ready for the conference slate. And so we knew that these games were going to be challenges and we had tough competitive games against these MIAC teams last year. And I like what I'm seeing, certainly from an offense perspective. We got some things defensively we can get better at and shore up, but just some more complementary football. I mean, that's kind of been our thing here so far, as the third quarter has been a bit of a problem because both games, we're tied at half for one. I got the lead, in one game, and we're down one touchdown in here this past Saturday. And so finding ways to kind of come out in the second half and play better and kind of start that third quarter better is kind of where we're at right now, and we'll get there.
Yep. Talk to me a little bit about, because obviously with both games, as you referenced, McAllister down just a point at halftime, and then with Hamlin, although down a score, they came out and got a score, you got one back right away. So, you're kind of in that I believe it was 28-21, and then they shot out a little bit. Is it that complementary football you're talking about in terms of trying to get a defensive stop, or is it, you can't put it on one thing, or is it the offense needing to come up with a clutch play, maybe a third down conversion? are those the pieces that are missing right now, or is it more than that?
Yeah, I think, last Saturday it's defensively getting off the field on third down. On one of their drives, I think they had like a 15-play drive where we had we had a third down, they had a third down conversion and a fourth down conversion. And so, I talked to the team on Monday morning about football is kind of a game where it really comes down to a handful of plays. Some plays are much more impactful than others, and unfortunately in the second half, we didn't seem to make any of them. And so we got to play each one like it matters and like it's the most important play, and unfortunately Hammond did that, we did not. And so we can get a stop there, certainly get it back to our offense, and we're feeling a lot better about ourselves. Like I said, it's 21-28 going into the fourth, and we just couldn't seem to put together that stop defensively to get Marcus and our offense the ball back to score and kind of keep responding. We just kind of got out of kilter there a little bit, and unfortunately it kind of got away from us then as we go forward in some bad situations.
Right.
Yeah. You have to.
Yeah. So Marcus, from your standpoint as the quarterback and the leader of the offense, what do you think has been going well for you and your team in the early season? And then maybe on the flip side, what are some things that you need to improve on?
Yeah, absolutely. I think first and foremost, guys' attitudes have been tremendous this year. I noticed a big difference from this year in comparison to last year. Guys are excited. Guys are united, which you always love to see from like a team and family-oriented standpoint. So I love the atmosphere of the team. Guys want to play for each other. Guys want to play together. Guys are hungry to win, which is always lovely to see. And I honestly think from on the flip side, there's definitely a few third down conversions and stuff like that we could have made on Saturday, a few plays, a few throws that I'd like to have back, of course. But that's why it's the ultimate team sport, because it's not just defense, it's not just offense, it's not just special teams, but it's the combination of all three and the coaches and, the preparation throughout the week. So I just think, honestly, we have all the tools to get this thing done, and the coaching staff, the players. We just need to put this thing together this week and keep at it. So.
Well, talk to me a little bit, and I love to hear the positivity still with the team, because it's, 0-2 is 0-2, right? That it's easy for guys and staff potentially to get down, but that's not the vibe I'm hearing. What does that look like when you're talking about, what were there this year, Coach? 35 first-year students with you, approximately? So you're taking 35 of 80 guys, basically, are brand new to the program. How does that meld in with an obviously an experience? I'll call you a senior, but it might even be senior plus.
Super senior, yeah. Yes.
But seriously, You've been through the ringer before. You know what I mean? You know what the grind of a college football season looks like.
Absolutely.
And you've been 0-2 before.
Yeah.
You know, how do you keep those guys that maybe haven't experienced this yet, certainly at this level, how do you keep them bought in and still fighting for that same ultimate goal?
Well, I think it's definitely an important mix of focusing on the positives, but also not getting complacent and jumping all over the good plays and being like, oh, we're this and that, whatever. Like, yes, we got to focus on the good things that we've done, but we also have to focus on the mistakes that we can clean up. And it's not necessarily a negative thing, right? You always want to learn from these things, and you always want to go back to the drawing board and try and figure different things out. How we can potentially change schemes and attack teams different ways and utilize different people and different personnel. And everybody's needed. Throughout the week we have scout team, right? And those 35 guys that you mentioned, a lot of those guys are helping our starters get prepared throughout the week. So they play a very, very integral role to the success of the offense and defense and special teams. So I think that's just what we got to keep the main thing. And like I said, everybody's hungry to win. I think we've done a lot of good things these last 2 weeks, and obviously there's some things that we can clean up, but it's a long season. We got 8 more games to go, hopefully more. In fact, I know we'll have more. I have a tremendous belief and faith in Coach Off here and the entire coaching staff and just the guys around us and those 35 new guys who get us prepared week in and week out on scout team. So.
Love it. You mentioned the coaches, and this season we're having a little fun with Coach Burke, and I don't know if you guys had a chance to listen to last week's episode, but I've introduced something I call Coach Burke Tweets. And we're highlighting a tweet a week from Coach Burke, and this is more the softer side of Coach Burke, his very thoughtfulness and all that type of thing. And I know on the sidelines sometimes we see a different side of Coach Burke.
Certainly.
So as I like to highlight more of the whimsical, maybe is a way
I
to
wish
say
I
it.
could do the music. The music was the thing that drew it for a
It's
little.
so good. But you get to see the more fiery side
Oh,
of
definitely.
Coach Burke. How is that? And what is it like to respond to that type of
So first of all, I think the fact that he's that hard on me is a good thing, because the second he stops yelling is the second I'll be worried, because it might mean he lost faith in me, right? And I think it's to be taken as a good thing, even though it can be hard sometimes. Obviously,
expectations are high.
Expectations are high, and believe me, there's nobody that wants to go out there and make those plays more than myself and the guys who are out there, right? But sometimes mistakes inevitably do happen. We do our best to prepare throughout the week so that they don't. But it's football and it's unpredictable sometimes. So, but I mean, no, I love Coach Burke. he's a great guy, great coach. And a lot of fans and a lot of people will come up to me after the game and be like, "Dang, he really ripped you there and this, that, whatever." And it's funny because that's what they see, but what they don't see is all of the hours that we actually spend that's not on the field, and all the time that we spend, in meetings and traveling, and all the times that we text each other jokes. We have a lot of laughs, and so we definitely do have a very interesting relationship, but it's a good one, it's a positive one, and he just wants to win, and you love to see that out of a
and one that's built upon mutual respect. Right?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I think that's not exclusive to you and Coach Burke, because I would say coach with you, and frankly all of our coaches in our program, of being hard on somebody is because you know what they're capable of.
Exactly.
Hoff, when you're talking about the defense underperforming, in your own, that's because you have an expectation of what Cougar defense looks like, and knowing that, hey, we can get those stops. And that mindset piece, to sit there, I think that the time, putting on my coaching hat again and your current ones, to sit there and when you look at an athlete and say, that's good enough, that means you've lost faith in what that actually is. I know you don't want that, and that's just not the mentality of the football program or any of it. So I love to hear that.
Yeah.
I love to hear that. One thing I want to bring up real briefly before we talk about the reason we're here, and that's obviously for the QR code on the bottom of the screen and all the support that we're going to feel. Talk to me about the Cougar Camp. Where did that come from? It's been all over Twitter.
Coach Hoffman might not know anything about it.
No, I know. Come on now.
Well, he sits up in his ivory tower and just
my house. There you go.
No, it's not his fault. It's the most important. But I mean, it's been fun. It's been great for me as just a fan to sit there and look and see some of the answers. Is that Galen? Is that where that came from?
That's a Coach Galen brainchild. I'm sure he got it from somewhere else too, but that's coaching. You get things from everywhere. I got to admit, I didn't know he was doing it, and he threw that out there the first day, and I immediately texted him and said, "This is fantastic." I mean, it's a good kind of get to know our players a little bit. You kind of see their silliness, and it's fun to hear guys talk, because that's, and that's kind of the cool thing, is that's just a glimpse of what we as coaches get to do every day. I mean, we're around these guys all the time, and having fun with them, and
not just in the X's and O sense, but I mean
Correct.
that the meetings that you opt, or
Exactly.
the text messages, or whatever else.
yeah, it's just kind of a glimpse of the program, and obviously we're targeting it towards obviously people, but recruits too. Is like this is what Cougar football's like, and this is what it's like to be in our program. So it's funny.
It is. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Now we should switch gears now to really talk about the reason we're here, and that's fundraising for your program. You're asking for money for a one-man tackle sled and new helmets and shoulder pads. Excuse me. If you could outline what these things mean to your program, what impact that would have if you're able to get these things for your program.
Well, obviously, from the helmet and shoulder pad standpoint, we've, and you referenced it, we've continued to kind of grow this roster, and we're to a point now where, I continually buy shoulder pads and helmets. Obviously, one of the things that, I've been working on really the past couple years is updating everything and trying to make sure that our players are in the best possible gear we can possibly buy, and that obviously comes at a cost.
Yeah.
And taking care of our players is a priority, and we want to make sure that we're doing that. And so the Rydell Speed Flex, which is the ones that I'm trying to get all of our players in. Early on, it was that awkward situation of, okay, we got a handful of them.
Who gets
well,
what?
You're the starter, you're the quarterback, you get one. We want to keep you safe, and it can't be that way. And so, we've continually through the past couple of years been going through that, and we're just about to a point where, we can get all of our guys in these helmets. And so, that's where this push comes from. And, I put 6 down, I'll certainly take more.
Yeah.
As like I said, our roster has gotten to a point now where we're, in a situation where we get a little low on helmets at times, and we want to make sure that we can accommodate our roster size, and shoulder pads included. That's another item that we certainly want to continue to upgrade. So the impact is huge,
Right.
in terms of, it's player safety, it's football.
And I think, I know people understand that, and that's the thing about it, but those are expensive purchases. There's helmets and shoulder pads and the safety items in every sport, but specific to football, are incredibly, in just the last 10, 15 years, I've even seen those prices go up. I do want to highlight one thing, Coach, and I'll share this. You've had a couple donations come in while we've been on the air here, which is amazing. But you got a big one, and I talked with Chad, and he's good with this, but $2,500 from Chad Mathewitz. And I'm not going to read his entire piece, but I just want to say, I still reminisce about my time there as a Cougar. All the memories and friends, the entire team will remain with me for my lifetime. My passion for football will never fade, and my support for Morris is easy. I hope you have a great season. AKA algebra, math, go Cougars, whatever. So, but it's the thing, and not everybody's got the capacity to do $2,500. For Chad and Courtney, that's they're Cougar through and through, and it's huge. But a couple $50 donations have come in, and the reality with every little bit helps. When you're talking about a sled, safety gear for the students, things of that nature. And again, for those of you listening right now, that's where the QR code on the bottom of the screen and visiting that website is something that excess capital is not, nobody just has extra money to just throw around, right? But if you have something like Chad referenced here that you're passionate about as part of your experience, and you have the capacity to give to the program, that's what it's all about, because this isn't just throwaway money. It's something that's going to make Marcus's last 8+ games better, and for the people that come. We want Marcus, when he becomes an alum in another year,
Finally.
right? Yeah. All right, there we go. So when Marcus graduates, that he can look back at it and say, that was the best experience of my life. This is why this $50 means, something to me. So, you are the guinea pigs of the Cougar Days of Giving. I appreciate you both joining us online here. We are going to take a small break, and then Coach Kyle from the women's soccer program is going to join us. So one more time, football, thank you for everything. And for you, those of you watching it, check out the QR code on the bottom of this screen, and if you have the ability to support, please do. We'll be back on Inside the Den. Cougar Days of Giving is your opportunity to support the University of Minnesota Morris Cougar Athletics and our amazing student athletes. Our outstanding students come to us from all over for an opportunity to get a world-class education and compete in the sport that they love.
I remember my visit here, which seems like so long ago now, but I honestly think that the relationship between athletics and the Cougars coaches is such a unique one, and one that you won't find between players and coaches anywhere else. So it's that, and just an opportunity to continue to play this great game of football and earn my degree in communications.
I was attracted to the idea of being a student athlete at Morris because I was able to get a very rich education while also playing both the sports that I love so much.
Your support goes directly to our student athletes and the programs they're associated with to better their experience. Whether it's increased travel opportunities, better equipment, or new age technology, each and every dollar earned makes our students' experience here better.
It's important for our program to have donor support because it's really tough in northern Minnesota to get a lot of games in earlier in the season. So that really helps with trips. It helps us get the right gear that we need for our training, and it helps us get prepared for the season.
Having donor support is amazing. It allowed us to go to California last year and play really competitive teams. I mean, we came back a whole different team from that tournament. It also allows us to get new net systems and jerseys and be competitive on our court as well.
This opportunity is so impactful for our student athletes. With their busy schedules of classes, homework, travel, practices, you know the constraints that are on student athletes. I don't want them to ever have to worry about fundraising. That's where you come in.
These financial gifts mean the world. To be able to perform at a D3 level, we would love to put on a show for you guys with these further donations and investments, and it's just a way to make you guys smile and make us happy every day as well.
It provides us with endless experiences. Some of these I'll never forget with my teammates.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us. Use the information on the bottom of the screen to make your commitment today. Every donation helps make us better together. Go Cougars!